everyone. This is Elliot Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. Thank you once again for joining us here on CCW TV, the Comic Culture Warrior video channel.
You smell like cigars.
I have not. I don't smell like cigars.
Yeah, you do.
I do not smoke. I am not a smoker. Nor do I really hang out a lot with smokers.
I'm just saying.
And definitely not cigar smokers.
Then it's very weird then.
I smell weird.
Well, it's weird that you smell like cigars. Cigars smoke, actually, not just cigars. But cigars
that would be weird, because I'm not even getting it. Are you sure you're not having a stroke or something?
It could be. Guess we'll find out in about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. If his speech gets slurry, we know why. Well, anyway, welcome back. This has been kind of a long week. Last week's we had enough material from the last round of segments to post a new episode just about every day, with the exception of Last Rants, because it was so big and my home DSL took forever to upload episodes. I hit you guys with double episodes on two days. They got 2 episodes.
That Layman one, can you really blame him? You needed to make up for that terrible video with posting something else.
Rob saw it. He got a kick out of the subtitles for the on the John Layman video. He commented on that. And Steve Pugh also commented on Twitter about the Hotwire.
Thanks for sending that my way. I didn't even know about it.
I put it on the blog. Steve, you don't have a Twitter account.
You could have emailed me and just said, "Hey, this is up. This is what's going on."
Well, didn't I? I didn't put that on. I thought I put that on the blog.
No, you mentioned that Pew had mentioned something somewhere. That's all you said. Oh. So I didn't know what it was actually said. I don't know where you read it.
Get a Twitter account.
Fuck that.
But Steve Pugh did comment, and he even retweeted the interview talking about how the review talking about how he is finally famous because of us on YouTube.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know Steve Pugh watched that. Yeah. It's pretty nice.
Well, what I did was I actually tweeted it to Warren Ellis.
Like, why would he care what you have to say about anything?
True, because Warren Ellis actually responded to me and said, "I have nothing to do with this. Right. You should be referring this to Steve Pugh," which I then did, and then Steve Pugh responded by saying, "Wow, I'm famous now." So it was kind of neat. It's nice.
I'm kind of glad to hear that Warren Ellis just kind of dismissed you out of hand. Like,
well, I've interviewed Warren Ellis before, so he knows.
I know you guys had a thing.
Yeah, it didn't go well, and I blame myself. I blame
you for everything. So why wouldn't you?
But and so a lot of stuff's been running around on the internet, flying out there. If you follow me on Twitter, it's always twitter.com/geek2me. You can follow my tweets, and I tweet about a lot of different things, among them being the CCW videos, and you'll see a lot of the back and forth that I have with other professionals on Twitter, like Ryan Otley, who has commented, and others, and then
Any more names you want to drop here?
I'll save it for later. I may be talking to Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross when they come to Chicago for Wizard Club.
Alex Ross is always in Chicago.
Well, Kurt Busiek is not. He's
right,
but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's about some stuff that they're doing for Dynamite.
Well, let's see what we can do about somebody getting, blocked from your Twitter feed here.
Oh yes, and the Rob Guillory and the Mighty Layman. Did we say it?
I think we called it a couple months ago when I found out that John Layman was writing this Shadowland Bullseye one-shot.
It's a one-shot, which we were really looking forward to because John had been riding high that Chew wave, because now John is an Eisner Award winner. And now John is no stranger to the Marvel Universe. He's written stuff for Marvel in the past. He's done X-Men, he's done Gambit, he's written Marvel stuff before. So seeing John back in the Marvel fold, and this isn't the first of John's, Marvel stuff. I mean,
this is first stuff in a while.
First stuff in a while for Marvel. Having him come back into the, I was actually going, wow, yeah, okay, I want to see John do his thing here back in the Marvel U, and
So first of all, I have to say that the story is called Bullseye Dead on Arrival. Dead on Arrival. Yeah, that's kind of. But the other pun that I wish you would have gone with instead was Funeral for a Fiend. Where's that?
Yeah.
It was perfect. That was such a John Layman title. But, I mean, I can see what he did here, but I like mine better, though.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff that we could have done that we think we'd like.
Yeah. I would like to have gotten this so I could have rewritten some stuff. But
I will say this about this particular issue. It's John trying... I don't know. It's John trying to bring some of that black humor of his to the Marvel Universe. I'm wondering if he held back a bit, or if he was told, to hold back.
This is a story that I want to know. When he got this writing gig, was he given set parameters of what he had to do, or was it just like, we just do a story with Bullseye's funeral and do whatever you want, or was there a lot of editorial saying this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen, fill in the rest?
Right. Here's the thing, and again, with as someone who writes comics, and I know that a lot of times, when you're given a particular assignment, there are some tricks to it that there's some traps to it that you fall into whether you want to or not. It's kind of the old when you're writing for a more general audience, and you have to kind of consider a wider fan base, that kind of, you find yourself kind of handcuffing yourself a bit. Now, I don't know if that's the case with John, because with this particular issue, maybe it's because we just set the bar so darn high right now, and maybe it's because I'm just so accustomed to getting that really unique spin on things that I get on with Chew all the time. This really felt a very by the numbers type story.
Yes,
it felt like a really by the numbers type story, and I was waiting for the John Layman twist, the John Layman, that bit that he puts in a story that makes it uniquely his own. So there are a couple interesting things in here, and Bullseye makes a couple jokes, and if you go any further,
well, not the real Bullseye, the dead Bullseye that
right.
One of the characters is seeing Bullseye talk to him.
Okay, so essentially what this is, as Jose said, it's Bullseye's funeral, and a bunch of bikers have kind of rigged this. Yeah,
they kidnapped Ben Urich. They kidnapped a priest.
A priest, and they take hostage of a whole bunch of innocent bystanders to be the mourners at Bullseye's funeral.
So they can give him a...
They put on this whole farce of a funeral, right? Like if he was a good person and so on. So when you're reading this, when you first start out, it seems, it's a very jarring, disconcerting thing. You're like, wait, hold on. And as the story unravels, you start seeing what is the truth behind each of the stories, or at least from the point of view of this character that Ben Urich pairs up with, a young gentleman who appears to have the ability of the kid from The Sixth Sense, who can, see dead people. But as the story progresses, you find out it's not what you think it is. So, it's kind of like a stomp through Bullseye's past in a way, and how his life has crossed with other not so nice people, and it's the life of a villain through the eyes of other villains. The one thing I really just had a hard time dealing with, though, is this whole, there is no honor among thieves. Mm-hmm. And for anyone to really care that Bullseye, who really, for his own part, was a very self-centered, there wasn't a single person that he crossed paths with that he didn't double-cross.
Right.
There was nothing about the Bullseye character that made you think he would engender any sort of loyalty. So for these bikers to even want to put anything on for Bullseye just seemed kind of like a stretch for me. Mm-hmm. But then again, we're in the Marvel Universe where people fly and spin webs and so on. So anything beyond that.
Make deals with the devil.
And make deals with the devil. There is one thing about this book that threw me off more than anything, and it's not to be taken the wrong way. Sean Chen's art. Mm-hmm. Now, Sean Chen is a very good artist. I love Sean Chen's stuff. But for this particular book, because I am so accustomed these days to being paired with a quirkier type of artist and doing things, Sean Chen just wasn't quirky enough for me. I mean, the tone of this book. I mean, he does a.
It does make it look a little bit maybe more serious than it should have been.
Than it should have been. I mean, if you get a different artist who can make things a little more cartoony, perhaps exaggerate features here and there, it might have given the story a different tone.
See,
but
I'll
because,
agree with that.
and again, it's just a mismatch in my opinion. Sean Chen does a a splendid job with this. The storytelling solid, the artwork is solid all the way through. Just to me, it didn't seem to fit the tone of the story.
Yeah, I read some reviews that people thought that the art in this was better than better in Shadowland than in here. People complaining about Sean Chen's art. I'm sorry, but I'll take Sean Chen over Billy Tan any fucking day of the week. Because this actually is better than anything that's going on in Shadowland art-wise. I'm sorry.
What's going on, though, in Shadowland is that Billy Tan, he's obviously under kind of a deadline pressure, and some of the work looks rushed. I think with some of these one-shots...
Well, maybe they should have given them some more time to actually do it. Maybe, editorial could have gotten on that. Maybe they could have planned things a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because you're making that excuse.
No, I know. I'm just saying, I'm just giving you the professional's point of view. Sometimes...
And I'm giving you the point of view that they should probably be more professional at Marvel than planning this stuff out so it doesn't look so rushed.
Well, the best laid plans, I'll always say.
The best layman plans.
So, yeah, we were really looking forward to this. I mean, it has a clever twist ending. It's kind of goofy. But in the end, you're like, well...
In the end, the writing was good. But, again, there's only so much you can do with this one shot. I want to know if Lehman had any constraints put on him. But the bigger overall problem that I have with this, not necessary at all. This book was just not necessary.
Yeah, it didn't tell anything in the story that you really had to know.
No, I mean, there is a point where
well, maybe I think it dropped something in. I forgot there was a plot point in there about, maybe these biker guys will factor in later, in Shadowland or what's going on in in the whole Shadowland thing.
I don't know.
But again, it doesn't seem at first blush like something you really had a story you had.
Right, and this is the first one shot to come out of the Shadowland bullshit that we've talked about before. And I'm wondering now if all these one shots are just going to be not needed at all, and this is just a way to get $4 out of you. Because I'm sorry, the Shadowland thing we've talked about before, it should just be its own miniseries and maybe Daredevil. The Daredevil issues have been better than the Shadowland issues on top of that, too, which is really sad, because if you're trying to sell a miniseries to the Daredevil readers, you got to make that miniseries just as good, if not better, than Daredevil. And the new issue of Daredevil comes out this week. Mm-hmm. But the one issue of Daredevil that I read was already better than the last two issues of Shadowland combined. And if this is the kind of stuff that we're going to get, stuff that's just not necessary, stuff just for fans to pay $4 for, that's a bit much. Because, I mean, you look at the back here, and in the last page, all these books that are coming out.
Yeah, and this is not supposed to be a quote-unquote event. It's supposed
but
to be...
But it isn't. I mean, look at all these books.
I'm just saying, all the tie-ins and stuff make you think this is the way you play an event. It's not, again, they're trying to say that they're going to back away from the events because after Civil War and even DC, with Final Crisis and all this stuff that they've been doing, the publishers said, even Bendis said it with Siege. Oh, well, we're backing off on that kind of stuff. That's why the Siege was only 4 issues, and yet it had all those tie-ins with it. And Shadowland, how long is the Shadowland miniseries supposed to be?
5 issues.
5 issues, so they're claiming that they're going to back off that type of strategy, but the proof's in the pudding here.
Yeah. And one other complaint that I want to make about the Shadowland series is that if you're not reading Daredevil, you're missing a big part of the Shadowland story. Again, this goes back to not being able to tell the main story of the event, or whatever you want to call it, within the actual book. The Daredevil had a completely different take on things, and it was so much more interesting than what Shadowland has been. Because if you're not reading Daredevil, you're missing kind of a big part of the story.
Daredevil hasn't caught up with Shadowland yet. Shadowland is bouncing ahead.
No? Daredevil, the one issue Daredevil took place after he killed Bullseye.
Oh, okay.
So, no, they're going on at the same time. They're not going back to backtrack.
Because I know you were saying the last time we talked about it seemed like they hadn't caught up
yet. Yeah, they haven't done that.
Okay. Oh, well.
So, yeah, they haven't filled in that gap that I was wanting, but the story in the actual Daredevil comic was still a lot better than what was in Shadowland. Okay. And again, it's a pretty important story.
No.
So I just hope, it's just one of those things. It's not a necessary issue. It's not a necessary book at all. It's $4, and you're going to get a whole lot of that down the pipeline now. So
if you're going to get the tie-ins, just be selective with them. You don't really need to get all of them. I mean, if you want to support John and his work, then get it. You're going to get...
But I had a lot of people on the blog. So many people said, I want to support John Layman, but it's a $4 book.
Yeah, no, and that, again, is Marvel killing some of its creators. Mm-hmm. That, John, now, he's more of an established name now, so maybe you're going to see more folks taking the dive into one of his stories and buying more of his mainstream stuff. At the same time, if he hadn't won that Eisner, who knows? Who knows? I mean, I love him. He's a great writer. I just don't know. All right, so let's end this on that note. And when we come back, we'll actually talk about a couple books that have been mentioned on the blog that haven't been getting the recognition they deserve.